So there's no fallback career like architecture, for example?
I do have that degree, so I don't know. I've never had to use it yet, except as like a drink coaster or a bookmark.
Our next guest is by far the most prolific and well-known parody artist in the world, with more gold and platinum records than probably 2/3 of the artists he covers. He has 5 Grammy Awards and an Emmy to his name. He should have won an Oscar for UHF as well, but unfortunately, the Academy wasn't able to recognize the film's genius at the time. I'm just saying. He has, I'm guessing, 40% fewer bones than most humans, is exceptionally musically accomplished, is both the writer and the subject of the incredible Weird, the Al Yankovic story starring Daniel Radcliffe, and is a beloved friend of the Simpsons family. A warm welcome to my good friend, Al Yankovic. I don't know if you remember this, but the first time we really got to play together was literally at the Hollywood Bowl. And I will now declass information for you and for our fans. Okay, embarrassingly so, I was totally fangirling you.
Really?
So, yeah, absolutely, because we'd worked together for, about 3 episodes, but we never really worked together, You came in and it was like, I think, a private record or whatever. And so at the Hollywood Bowl, I got to come up to you and say hello, and I confess that my stomach was full of butterflies, but you were so sweet to me. No, you were and you were just about ready to go on. And you were so sweet to me, and you put me at ease, and now we're friends. Our birthdays are a couple days apart, and it's just such a pleasure. It's a dream to have you here.
Well, that's so nice to hear, and I'm sure I was fanboying over you as well. That was a lot of fun. I think that was the first time I performed at the Hollywood Bowl, so I was pretty nervous at the time. It's always a little scary because anytime you're doing a production like that, like a variety show, where there are so many moving pieces, something's going to go wrong. You just don't know what quite yet, but something's definitely going to go wrong at some point. It all came together. I think we were all a little under-rehearsed, but it all came together, and the crowd sure seemed to enjoy it. And it's a great memory. I'm really glad to have been part of that.
For reals.
Al, I wanted to dive in here. So there's 2 episodes that you're featured in. 3 Gays of the Condo and that 90s show. What's really special about these episodes is they both give us a glimpse of young Marge and Homer kind of time traveling back to different era of their lives, which is always like so much fun when The Simpsons does episodes like that. So I want you to imagine the year is now 2040. The Simpsons is still going strong. Okay. And in this episode, there's a flashback scene that's taking us back to 2025. What kind of episode would that be like?
Flashing back to 2025?
That's right.
Oh, gosh, I would probably still be yellow in the show. I don't know. Every single time that I've been on The Simpsons, the character design is a bit different. Like, I think in the first couple ones, I had more of a pronounced Simpsons-esque chin. And they made it look more real, I guess, for the couch gag. I don't know. So I don't know how they'd be representing me in 2025. I mean, I haven't changed a whole lot in the last decade or two. So yeah, hard to say. What do you think?
Well, I think for sure you'd still have a Hawaiian shirt on.
Yeah.
And you'd still have the hair that your classic hairdo.
Yeah, that I'm slowly but surely losing, yes.
It's interesting because we all create an image for ourselves, and people get used to that. And when you're flashing forward that far, like, dude, we're going to be like in our 9th decade of life or something like that in 2040.
If we're lucky, sure.
Well, I'd like to hit triple digits. I don't know about you, but I think that's a fun game to play.
I want to have my head in a jar like in Futurama. That's my goal.
Do you still see and hear yourself doing these same things that far into the future?
If I can, I mean, it's never been a job to me. I mean, I do it because I love doing it. And maybe at some point I won't be able to physically go out on stage and put on the show that I'm used to putting on. But I mean, I love doing it. And as long as I'm physically able, I'm there.
Right. So there's no fallback career like architecture, for example?
I do have that degree, so I don't know. I've never had to use it yet, except as like a drink coaster or a bookmark. But well, yeah, I don't want to rule anything out, but I don't think so.
You know, fans speculate sometimes that when you look at all the 3 appearances that you've made on the show, including 2023's Hostile Kirk's Place, that it gives further evidence of Homer's ability to jump between timelines. And I mean, Homer's life completely changes depending on the decade. But you, kind of what we just said, Al, you stay the same no matter what decade The Simpsons is in. And I mean, is that just your own unique staying power, or I don't know, are you immortal?
I still feel like I'm the same person inside as I was when I was first starting out. So, I don't feel like I've really changed that much. I mean, I certainly looking at older pictures of me, I go, oh yeah, physically I've changed quite a bit, but at my heart, I like to think I'm still basically the same person.
I think that's remarkable. That's an incredible ability. I think most people don't have that. Honestly, people tend to flip around, but you knew at such a young age of who you were, and you kept your integrity the entire time. The support that you had from your mom and your dad, to me, really says something about not only about your parents and their own ability to raise you and validate you for who you are, but again, your integrity to keep who you are prominent, and you held true to your own dreams. And I find that remarkable.
Yeah, something that, I've said this many times in many interviews, but something that my dad kind of drilled into me at an early age was that success is just a matter of doing what you love to do. And if you can make a living at it, great, So I come from a sort of a lower middle class background. My parents were not like career minded. They weren't obsessed with money. They basically just wanted me to be happy. So even though I think they were maybe a little leery of the fact that I was trying to go into show business. I think that, they, above all, they just wanted me to be happy with what I did in life. And they were always very supportive of that.
And going more into your career, Al, with music and everything else that you're known for. Okay, so before we talked to you, Nancy and I were just listening to Phony Calls. Okay, we were like jamming out to that. We loved it. And we noticed that you sampled a phone call between Bart and Moe, which is extremely fitting, of course. And you referenced The Simpsons in a couple more of your songs as well in your career. So how do you think The Simpsons and your song parodies reflect the time in which they were written?
Well, I mean, the Simpsons, reflect pop culture at all points. I mean, the Simpsons, like a lot of my material, is a bit of a time capsule. If you want to see what's going on in the world, you can, go back to old syndicated episodes of The Simpsons. Go, oh, this was popular in 1993. It's a way to kind of keep up with what's going on in the world in a way.
So when you say something like that, I'm sort of curious. As a kid, you were a kid and you grew up in the 60s, right? I mean,
yeah, a small child, yeah.
Yeah. So 60s into the 70s, when did you recognize that certain sounds really made you happy and you started to recognize some kind of an association with that music? Because you can do all different kinds of genres.
Yeah, I grew up listening to pop and rock radio. It was the Dr. Demento show that really kind of flipped the switch for me because, I was into Mad Magazine. I was starting to get into Monty Python. But when I heard Dr. Demento on the radio, I heard all these people like Spike Jones and Alan Sherman and Stan Freberg and Tom Lehrer, Frank Zappa, Shel Silverstein, all these people that did funny music. And I thought, oh, these are my people. I love this stuff. And he wasn't really accepting, he didn't promote or solicit home recorded material. He didn't say, send us your songs, but I just thought, hey, what can it hurt? I'll just record something in my bedroom with my accordion on a little, tiny cassette tape recorder, and I sent them to Dr. Demento, to the radio station, and he played them on the radio. And that gave me, I was like a teenager. I had no idea what I was doing, but he played my stuff, and that kind of blew my mind.
You know, Al, we have a little bit in common. You had Dr. Demento as your mentor, and my mentor, Dawes Butler, actually, huge fan of Dr. Demento.
Sure.
And talked about him, the things you said in Mad Magazine, and we have a little bit of a, similar reality there.
I never met Dawes. What a fan. I mean, I assume you've met him. You've.
Oh, yeah. I did the same thing that you did. I sent him tapes. I was in Ohio. And we got connected through a radio station, but I just made some phone call to him, and next thing I know, he's sending me scripts, and I'm just recording it on cassette, because that was the thing at the time. Would send these cassettes off to him, and he'd critique me, and I was perfecting voices and coming up with characters and doing aliens and doing older women and little girls, and I would get friends from the speech team, because that was the game that I was playing, was like being on the speech team, as opposed to going to like a open mic, with my accordion and like.
Were you in the forensic leagues? Is that what they call it? Yeah. What were your events? What did you do?
Oh my goodness. Well, humorous interpretation.
Of course.
After dinner speaking, so I did a little stand-up, if you want to call it that. And I did prose and poetry and some with music, and had to edit and find the music myself, and found out a lot about music and editing, and learned how to do that, and did pretty good, got a scholarship, and meanwhile just sending these tapes back and forth to Dawes. And then when I met him and started taking classes at his house in Beverly Hills, I take the bus from Westwood, UCLA, and hop off and be with him for the afternoon. But that's when he would take me through his studio and talk about his life. And this is when Dr. Demento came up, and I'd never heard of Dr. Demento. And then tuning him in on the radio and listening to this guy, he was just out there. And I can imagine what that must have been like for you when he first responded, what you sent him.
Yeah, My Bologna, right, yeah. I was sending him stuff even before that. That was the first one that actually became a hit on this show, but I sent him a lot of stuff, not very, very poor quality, very amateurish. Like, I was 15 years old and I was just writing these stupid songs, but he played them on the radio, and it was enough to encourage me to write more. And then when I finally did My Bologna, I was actually in college. I think I was 19 at the time. And that one became a viral hit back in the days before things really went viral.
Wow.
I want to know more about Dawes Butler, though, because I'm fascinated with him. He was actually giving lessons to people. He was teaching people.
Yeah. On Wednesday nights, he had a little treasure. He had a little treasure box, like about yay big, opened up, and there was a little note that said, $10 if you can, don't worry if you can't.
Oh. And now, what years would this have been?
It was September 19th, 1978. I remember it like yesterday. And so Dawes, he would write scripts. We never used anybody's copy. It was all handwritten stories. And I saved all this stuff and have several binders that are this thick of original writings. And on Wednesday nights, we would go through and just, everybody he would pair up everybody, or we'd do a monologue or whatnot. And it'd be for about 3 hours, I think from about 7 until 10 o'clock at night. But on Sundays, that's what I lived for, because I'd catch the bus and go to his house, and just he would show me clips of like black and white commercials that he had done, and working with Stan Freberg, and the early playing some old radio shows that he did. And it was just an education that I wouldn't have gotten anywhere else.
Of course. That's amazing.
It was just remarkable. And Al, he just took me under his wing. And he and his wife, Murtis, would, take me, they would drive me back to my dorm, but stop at Love's Pitts Barbecue on Pico.
Wow. Were there other people in the class that maybe I would have heard about?
Let's see. Tim Robbins was a part of the class.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Shane Black.
Oh wow.
There's producer Susan Kartsonis, who ended up working with James L. Brooks, who years later than she was one of his producers. And then she was incredible. She still is incredible. She really kind of helped me in a big, big way. And, when you're that young, you at 15, 19 years old, going into college and finding your way, I'd been away from home, but UCLA was such a big campus. And again, never having been on an airplane or anything, I didn't know a soul. And living in the dorm, it was so new to me that you just try to find your people. And it took me a bit, but I got some help from a couple of women that kind of guided me in terms of immersing myself in what I love,
That's so helpful because, as you well know, voiceover acting is not an easy profession to get into, and it's nice to have like that kind of background that you had with DOS. I mean, my daughter Nina, she kind of every couple of weeks she decides she's kind of experimental. She's graduated from college, but like for like 1 week she said, "Oh, Dad, maybe I want to be a voiceover actor." So I actually bought her your master class just so she could like get into it. But the next week she was into something else.
Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, it takes a certain amount of commitment to do it. The competition is fierce. And yet there's so much opportunity that you can create your stuff. You can just create your own website. You can do your own whatever, podcast.
Sure.
And people get discovered that way. And I'm just kind of curious for you, how did you, it did sort of change overnight for you, right? It's just like all of a sudden.
Kind of. Yeah. I mean,
that song and people were like all of a sudden recognizing you on the street.
Yeah, I mean, I was sort of a cult figure for a couple of years. I mean, the people that listened to Dr. Demento early on were aware of me. They probably had no idea what I looked like. And then I had a couple of minor hits on my first album with My Bologna and another one, Rides the Bus, and I Love Rocky Road. And Ricky, which Tress McNeil was in. But I didn't become, I guess, for want of a better word, famous until Eat It came out, because when the Eat It video hit MTV in heavy rotation, that's when it was really, it's not an exaggeration to say it was overnight fame, because the next day after it came out, all of a sudden people were pointing at me on the street and saying, "There's the Eat It guy."
Now, see, this is where we totally split, because I still have a certain amount of anonymity, and I can't imagine you being able to walk many places without fans running up to you and wanting your autograph. How do you deal with that?
Well, living in LA, it's not such a novelty to see a quasi-famous person on the street. So most people just kind of let me live my life and let me go shopping, and without, nobody's going through my trash cans at night trying to find memorabilia. So it's a nice level of fame. I'm not like so famous that it's really annoying. It's usually more often than not just kind of pleasant when somebody approaches me.
Well, you're so gosh darn graceful. You're gracious to your fans and just a down to earth kind of a guy. And I think that's definitely part of your charm.
Oh, thank you.
You're approachable. It's beautiful. It's honestly, it's kind of hard to believe you live in Hollywood.
It's not that hard just to be nice to people. I don't know.
Right.
I just follow a simple rule: just don't be a jerk, and that's easy enough,
I was kind of curious. You performed that song from 3 Days of the Condo with us at the Hollywood Bowl back in 2014. Do you remember what it was like writing that song for the show in 2003?
I do, because I didn't write it. That was a Simpsons writer. I think was it Matt Warburton? I could be wrong.
Yes, there's a Matt Warburton.
I believe it was him there. Well, I know how it works. Is like he gets credit, but I know it's sort of a group project on the script. So I'm not sure if he's 100% credited with writing that song, but certainly he was involved. And yeah, I mean, normally I would write my own parodies, but when you're working with The Simpsons, I mean, the quality of writing is so great that it's not like I'm going to like try to, improve it. It's already great,
See, once again, so gracious. And here we are, 11 years after we did the Hollywood Bowl. Now we're talking about it again, and we keep it fresh. It's just like somehow who you are and what you do is timeless.
I will say that, back in 1982, I did have a parody of the John Cougar Mellencamp song "Jack and Diane," which is
Oh, yeah.
and it was completely different. It was about the royal family. It was about Chuck and Diane because the royal wedding had just happened, and John Cougar. That was one of the rare occasions when I got turned down because he said, "Oh, I'm developing a movie around that song, and I don't want to, complicate it by having this parody out in the world." So, we're still waiting for the Jack and Diane movie. By the way, we're still waiting for that.
That's amazing. Al, I'm really curious. How do you step into the mindset of these really different kinds of performers? Like, how do you do that?
It's just fun. I mean, I don't know how to a process like a serious actor. I just try to emulate them as much as I can. I'm not an impressionist. I don't pretend that I sound exactly like somebody, but I give it my best shot. I try to make my vocal tonality, at least somewhat similar to what I'm going for. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm lucky that I have a band behind me that makes me look good. I've had the same guys behind me for 40 years, and they play every genre imaginable, and they're all like some of the expert musicians, and I'm very lucky to have had them behind me for so long. But yeah, I have to give a lot of the credit to them because even if my vocals aren't on the money, they always are.
40? You mean 40 years?
Yeah, I've been with my drummer since 1980 and guitar and bass player since 82. And the guy that plays keyboards on the road has only been with me for 35, what was it, 1992, 93. So yeah, 30-ish years. He's the new guy. We're still breaking him in. Yeah.
Well, dare I ask, were the original band, did you meet these guys in college?
Straight out of college, I met John Bermuda Schwartz. He's my drummer. I met him. I think I was actually in college at the time. I was in my senior year, and we played Another One Rides the Bus live on the show for the first time. I met him that night, and I was about to play the song on the radio, and he said, "Oh, well, I'm a drummer." And I said, "Oh, great, you can bang on my accordion case." So that is the actual recording, that live air check of that performance. That is still the only master recording of Another One Rides the Bus, and that was the night that I met my drummer.
And did your accordion case get all these dents in it because of that?
It's a little beat up. You should mention that because I'm supposed to be making a donation to the Smithsonian this year. So we're going to give him my original accordion case, the one that was beat on, and the original accordion. So that hopefully will be at some point available for exhibit.
What an honor. Now, you've donated to them before?
No.
Did you infer that? No, this is the first time that they're asking you?
Yeah, they made a request, and I thought, well, it's like my favorite piece of memorabilia, but if I had to give it to anybody, I guess it would have to be the Smithsonian.
Wow.
Great choice.
Well, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, you should be a part of that somehow. Or
I voted for myself. I don't know if that's going to help.
So, Al, I'm just kind of curious. Do you have a favorite Simpsons fan theory, hot take, or conspiracy theory? Or better yet, do you have one yourself that you'd like to see put into the world?
Well, I do have a couple of fan theories. I think I haven't seen every single episode of The Simpsons, but I would say maybe 90%. I might have missed a few over the years. But based on what I've watched, I'm going to say that I think Homer Simpson really enjoys donuts. I've gleaned that. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but that is my personal hot take.
And Bart likes squishies.
Yes, that as well.
They're delicious. Yum. Oh, squishy. Love that squishy.
All right. You guys ready for a game?
Yes. Okay, now this was messengered to me yesterday. We'll see how this enters into whatever we're doing here.
I'm going to read you guys 10 news stories that are either pulled from Simpsons plotlines or from real news stories in real life. So, Nancy and Al, you guys are going to guess whether the story is Simpsons or real life. That's where you present your paddle. After I ask my question, answer by presenting your paddle.
And Al, total transparency, Al, I have not been clued in. This is an honest game.
Are you guys ready?
Here we go.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Here we go. Question 1. Father bankrupts his family by consistently over-tipping. Nancy guessed Simpsons, and Al, you're guessing real life. And the point goes to Nancy. This is from The Simpsons, season 35, episode 17, The Tipping Point.
Just so you know, like we've had over 800 episodes, and I have almost seen all of them, but they do tend to, it's a lot to remember. So that was a total guess on my part. Please continue.
Okay.
It's 1-0, Nancy in the lead. Here is the next headline. Question 2. Child complains of monster hiding under their bed, which turns out to be a strange man hiding in wait. Nancy's guessing real life. Al says Simpsons. Nancy, you got another point.
Oh! I hope this grand prize sucks.
It's 2-0 with Nancy in the lead. On to the next one. Question 3. Man sues all-you-can-eat restaurant for false advertising.
Oh.
Nancy's saying real life, and Al is saying Simpsons.
Oh my gosh.
Nancy is correct again.
Oh,
this
boy.
is a 2017
You're good at this.
headline.
I'm only thinking if I think it's one, then I go for the other. I'm just saying.
The score is 3-0 as we head into the next one. Question 4. The entire MLB gets into a huge uproar after a guy named Lenny introduces a bat shaped like a bowling pin.
Well, it seems like it should be Simpsons, so I'm going to say Simpsons.
I'm going to say real life.
Nancy is correct. This is a real headline from 2025.
Okay, time for a comeback.
Listen, give me an accordion. Give me an accordion and I'll make you feel better.
Nancy, that's the grand prize. You're not supposed to tell anyone. Okay. It's 4-0, Nancy, but it's still anyone's game. Question 5. Bad boy jockey wins races, but loses friends by training his horse to be a jerk on the track. Nancy guesses real life. Al says Simpsons. Al, this one goes to
In
you.
your face!
This is The Simpsons Season 11, Episode 13, Saddle Sore Galactica. That brings the score to 4-1. Question 6. A Cheeto shaped like a popular cartoon character is sold at auction for $88,000.
I think that's for real.
Nancy is correct again. It's Cheetozard, auctioned for $88K in 2024. That brings us to 5-1. Next question. National music chain limits accordion purchases to 2 per family. Al is guessing real life, and so is Nancy. You both get a point.
I know all the accordion-related questions.
That brings us to 6-2. Okay, question 8. Local boy is first to discover a comet headed for Earth. Both Al and Nancy are going Simpsons, and you're both right. This is from Season 6, Episode 14, Bart's Comet. It's 7-3, and we only have 2 questions left. All right, here we go. Question 9. Jury convicts thief who stole golden toilet from English Palace.
Ooh, yeah, I'm going to have to say that.
Both of you say real life. You are both correct.
Yes!
The toilet was stolen in under 5 minutes from Blenheim Palace in 2019. The score is 8-4 as we go into our last question. Question 10. Toddler shoots man involved in controversial oil project. Al guesses Simpsons, Nancy real life. Al, you are correct. This is Season 7, Episode 1, Who Shot Mr. Burns? Al, you got 5, and Nancy, you got 8. So I guess she's going home with that accordion.
Oh, well, I'll give you lessons.
Great. Great. I'll teach you how to do some sound effects.
Okay.
So, you know what? I'm just kind of curious. Is there anything, something that you have done that you are so proud of, or are there lots of things? Are they all on the same level, songs or anything that you've done that you're super proud of that's very personal?
Well, yeah, a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm not sure how to answer that. I mean, like every album that I put out, at the time, I think it's the best thing I've ever done. I mean, with a little bit of perspective, that's obviously not true. but no, I mean, I can certainly also go back at things I've done and pick it apart and go, oh, I could have done that better, or should have found a better rhyme for that line, or I wish I had auto-tune back in 1984, that kind of thing.
Cool.
But in general, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I look back and go, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm glad I made that.
That's cool. That's really good. I'm going to say something here, and maybe you already know, well, you do already know this, that my niece is the amazing Sabrina Carpenter.
Of course, yes.
Right? And I read that your daughter is a huge Sabrina Carpenter fan.
Sure.
And I thought it might be fun to do a little tribute to Sabrina by singing her Grammy Award-winning song, Espresso. And I would like to sing it as Ralph Wiggum.
Okay.
If you would, could you grace me with accompanying me on your accordion?
I do have my accordion right here. Should I whip it out?
Yes, please.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, he's thinking about me every night. Oh, isn't that sweet? I guess so. Say you can't sleep, baby. I know that me, Espresso.
Hey, Nance. Can I talk to you for a sec?
Yeah, sure. Hold on for a second. Hey, Al, can you give me a minute?
Yeah.
The song. It's not working.
Says you. I think it's great.
Do you? Do you? Really?
No, absolutely no. I'm sweating my ass off over here. I'm trying to direct Al Yankovic how to play his accordion, faster or slower. This is a nightmare.
Read this. Ralph voice, Nelson voice, Bart voice. In that order. You're going to thank me later.
Okay. I guess I could try. Al, once more from the top.
Yeah.
I'm working late, 'cause I'm a singer. Oh, I look so cute. Wrap round my finger.
Too bad your ex don't do it for you.
Yes.
Walked in and dream came true to for you.
Yes.
Soft skin and I perfumed it for you.
Move it up, down, left, right, oh. Switch it up like Nintendo. Say you can't sleep, baby, I know. That's that me, Espresso.
Whee!
I am not giving up my day job. 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up for
Yay.
Sabrina.
Yes, absolutely. I got to work with Sabrina. She was my co-star on Milo Murphy's Law. I think the only time I actually met her was when we were doing the BTS. They did some kind of or EPK or whatever it was, some kind of like behind the scenes thing for Disney. Because when we actually recorded our parts, we did it separately. So the only time I met her was when we had to show everybody, look, we're in a show together. Whee!
Wow.
Well, if there's anything you want to tell us about or promote, any upcoming fun stuff you're putting out into the world?
Well, the only thing I can really promote is the tour. I'm doing the Bigger and Weirder tour. That's going to start pretty soon, actually. I leave in a few weeks. All the dates are on weirdal.com. It's an international tour. We're doing the United States and Toronto. International.
That counts.
That counts. No, we're doing 75 cities, 75 shows across the country. Playing Madison Square Garden. We're playing the Forum here in LA.
Whoa.
Red Rocks, a lot of really cool places. This is, our biggest tour ever. And
Wow.
the band we've got the original guys in my band, but we're also doubling the size of the band, so it's going to be a much bigger sound, bigger production. I'm very excited about it. It should be really fun.
Are there pyrotechnics?
There might be. There's not supposed to be, but there might be.
Wow. So this is like a 3-month tour? How long are you going to be gone?
Yeah,
6
it's like
months,
three and a, well, this one's about 3.5 months. So like mid-June to the end of September. And,
Wow.
and this is back to the big production tour, because we've done a couple tours called the Vanity Tour, where it's basically we're playing deep cuts and it's a very low energy kind of thing where we sit on stools and play songs. This is not that. We're playing the hits. We're playing a bunch of stuff we've never played live before, and it's got all the costumes and the props and the big LED video walls and all that. So it's a real production.
Wow, it sounds like you're following up the Hollywood Bowl with a world tour.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. Listen, we would be so remiss if I didn't get to bring up and acknowledge the Al Yankovic story.
Oh.
I got to tell you that, to me, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Wow.
Seriously, Waiting for Guffman has been a big leading comedy, but when I saw your movie and it came out, 3 years ago, something like that.
20, end of 2022. Yeah.
Yeah. Al, oh my gosh. It just blew my socks off.
Thank you.
What did that feel like for you to have your life? And the first line itself was just like such a dead giveaway for like what kind of a movie was going. All gabardine suits are now 30% off. I mean, how can you not have a funny? Yeah.
That was so fun. Yeah, I co-wrote that movie with Eric Appel, who directed it. And I was one of the producers, so I was on set every second of every day. And it was just, I couldn't believe it got made because, it was done on a kind of a shoestring budget, and we had to shoot it in 18 days. And it was during COVID. So it was like, if one of the principal actors got sick, we were done. We were literally done.
Wow.
But somehow all the planets aligned, and we shot it, and it turned out. And I'm very happy with the way that turned out. And Daniel Radcliffe, oh my goodness.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
so amazing. He's the sweetest guy, and he's so professional, and he's just so good. And man, he's just like, I wish everybody was like him. He was the best.
Oh, you guys could be brothers. Seriously, you could be brothers from different mothers, obviously. But it's like, no, that project, I'm sure that it must have just warmed your heart doing it because it was so personal. And yet your real life was nothing like that. You did an incredible parody on it. And it just, I started counting the awards, and after 40, I go, oh my gosh, how many more could one movie get? So congratulations.
Thank you.
And very well done.
It always amused me because, people that follow my career, even that are like mildly familiar with my career, know that the whole thing is a joke and it's ironic. But there are people out there that think, they either think the whole thing is real, or they wait till the very end of the movie where they go, wait a minute, I'm not quite sure about the veracity of this piece,
Yeah. Well, so very well done. It's not an easy for anybody to make a movie or an animated show or a television series or whatever, a commercial. It is not easy, and just very, very well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Al, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great having you. You're such a huge icon to us all.
Well, it's my pleasure. This is so fun. Yeah, I'll study real life and The Simpsons more in case we ever play this in the future.
Oh, and you can keep the paddle.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know when it'll come in handy.
Yeah, well, I will keep this by my side always.
Thank you so much, Al. Such a treasure. Best of luck on your tour.
Thank you.
Show's over, losers.